you guys, I'm back. And it feels so good to be back with you guys again. Um, y'all know I'm an air sign, right? Y'all know how us Geminis are. We so fickle. And so I know I've been saying and telling people I'm gonna do videos, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But now I am totally dedicating time to do videos. I picked 2 days out the week now. I have put it in my schedule and I'm back on fire. Okay, so you guys like, share, subscribe. I need more viewers, I need more subscribers so that eventually we can start going live and we can interact with each other live. That way you can ask me questions and I can ask y'all questions. Okay, because some of you out there, you might be watching this video, but you know some stuff that I don't know. So I'm still in a learning process too. But yeah, you guys, like, share, and subscribe to the channel so that we can get it popping more often, okay? Y'all see I still do the headdresses. I got my headdress on, okay? This one here, what it got? Some turkey feathers here. Y'all, look, I got my peacock. Y'all know I think my peacock is just oh so sexy. I love peacock. And I like this little headdress. It's fun. It makes me kind of want to shimmy, shimmy. Y'all know I'm really, really silly, okay? And then look, y'all, I got my bracelets. I made this one right here, but this one is on my website in the jewelry section. This is cornelian, and it's very, very, these are thick stones, and that's why I like them. Sometimes you don't want the little tiny ones, but then this little shiny one here, I kind of made that one myself. So I make bracelets and jewelry and stuff like that. So, I think I'm going to start putting some of my pieces on Crystal Creek Botanicals. So, really, this channel is really primarily about us learning to do magic, spiritual work, and different things for ourselves, not depending on others, but more so us taking our own spirituality into our own hands. That is what I always talk about on this channel, okay? So we can do spiritual work for ourselves. We don't have to depend on others to do work for us, okay? Because there may be times when nobody is around. There may be times where you can't trust nobody, okay? So it's important for us to learn spirituality for ourselves. I can't emphasize that enough. I think we are always taught, especially from a traditional standpoint of spirituality, religion, to depend on the pastor, the pope, the priest, the and sometimes even in like voodoo systems and stuff, people feel like that they can't do work for themselves, and some of us can't. Okay, some of us are not at that level, but there are baby steps, okay? And there are things that we can do to ensure our own, especially in this day and age where there are a lot of fakers and pretenders and swindlers out there. So yeah, let's get started. So this video here primarily is about smudging, okay? And I think we are all really familiar with sage. It's our go-to. It's like the universal smudge. It's kind of like with crystals. We always say that a crystal quartz or a clear crystal is a universal stone. You can use it for pretty much anything. But within smudging, I think that sage is a very popular and go-to herb. It has many, many wonderful properties to it. I mean, let's just talk about smudging in itself, right? So there is a science behind smudging, okay? For me, science and spirituality is all in some way connected in some ways. A lot of people, go to sage because I think it's more popular. Um, and that tends to happen. It's more popular. People have heard of it more so. So that tends to be what we go to. The science behind smudging is that we can change the environment around us. Now, I always tell people that we are threefold beings. You are a spirit, you have a soul, and you live inside of a body. So many things, like even a lot of our sicknesses and things that are wrong with our body, it is a form of a curse. That's why when I'm sick, I say I'm under attack, because physical body sickness is also a spiritual attack in itself. So when your body is riddled and you're not feeling good, you're sick, you're under the weather, it is very, very hard for you to do spiritual work. And those are the times sometimes when we have to reach out to maybe a spiritual person that we know in our family, someone we love or in trust, a sister, a brother that you know. That's sometimes when we kind of, can reach out for other help, because it is when anytime that I am physically ill in any kind of way, I call it a curse. And so I think it's important also to understand that all curses are not coming from other people. There are entities that are in the world, lower vibrating spirits, that just simply don't like you. They don't like you, and they're there to stop you from doing whatever it is you're trying to do. So I think sometimes we often always say somebody has hexed and cursed me. No, sometimes it's just spirits that are out there that don't need direction from somebody else. They're simply trying to stop you, period. Okay. So it's nothing personal. It's just that's just how it is in the spirit world. Now, it has been scientifically proven that sage can change the environment. It can change a person's mood. It can change the way you think. It brings it's like antidepressant as well. I think it's been proven to get rid of depression or help to aid in getting rid of depression. So I hate to say get rid of, because people always take it literal and then try to, I'm not trying to say it'll cure, but it does aid in getting rid of depression. So there's energy all around you. You can feel it. A lot of people don't believe in energy, but you could walk into a room and you can feel the negative energy. You can basically feel if two people been arguing, if there was some words that was exchanged, because even if no one says anything, I have been in a room and people have tried to play stuff off like, okay, let's stop arguing because she's walking in, but I can feel it without any. So that's what's around us. There's energy around us, and what you're doing is, a lot of people don't understand how trees, plants, and herbs and things really have a lot to do with the environment. The fact that we're cutting down so many trees and we're not replanting them is the reason why the earth is messed up today. So us spiritual workers, we know that nature is a very important part in our everyday spiritual work, because herbs are there not only to help cleanse your physical body or to help heal your physical body, but also your spiritual self, and also the environment, like your home, your job, your car, these places where you're at, where people are constantly, especially if people are coming in and out your home. A lot of us, don't live by ourselves. We live with other people that have this negative energy. So what we're doing is we are changing that. A lot of people ask me, how can I get rid of negative forces in my home? By creating a high vibrating atmosphere. So if you're trying to get rid of lower vibrating energies, you're going to create a high vibration inside of the home or wherever the negative energy is. Plants are good for that. My daughter, even when it comes to sickness, my daughter has asthma. There are certain type of plants that help to create oxygen in a room. There are plants that will filter out toxins that are in the air. Okay, so there is a science behind this. You guys can get into it deeper and find out all the science behind it. I'm giving you kind of some clues here and there. Write some things down. Do further research on your own as well. I always say that. Do your own work on your own. Look it up and see for yourself. Don't just take my word for it, okay? But we want to talk about that there are other smudges and herbs out there. A lot of us are not seeing the spiritual results that we want, primarily because we may not be trying different things. Okay, for example, let's talk about your physical body. Okay, you're not going to use typically the same herbs to treat a stomach ache that you would if you had a sinus infection. I'm kind of dealing with my sinuses now. But you're not going to use the same type of herbs to deal with a heart problem that you would for something going on with your kidneys, would you? You wouldn't do that. So why do we do the same thing when it comes to smudging? We just take sage and say, and that's another thing. I have seen people think that they're cleaning out an environment by typically just burning the sage. You are a very powerful energy conductor. So when you are smudging, you have to chant. You have to say what you want. You're directing the herbs. You are telling these herbs what you want them to do. They were living. It's a living thing. Plants are living. They came from the earth. We have to direct the energy ourselves. So you have to smudge and mean it. You have to smudge and have some type of emotion behind it. Don't just, burn some smudge and just sit it somewhere and say, look, it's doing the work, getting rid of all the spirits. No, you have to go all around your home. When I'm cleaning my home, I go around and I tell the spirits to go. The negative spirits that I don't want in my house, I tell it to go. I open up my door and I say, get the hell out. That's symbolism. And I fan it. I'll take a feather. I have a black crow's feather, and I fan my smudge, and I just point and I wave the spirits, the negative entity or the negative energy out of my home. So what I do typically is I close up all my windows and I let the smudge just fill the room, and then I'll open the door, and whatever it is I don't want there, I run it out. Okay, so you have to make a whole ritual behind it. Why? Because as melanated people especially, we are very ritualistic people. Okay, and the more you do something, the more power that it gets. Okay, so we are connected to these plants, and that's the reason why you need to put your spiritual energy into smudging instead of just waving it. Some people play around with smudge. Okay, it's fun. It's not a plaything. This is something we have to take our spirituality serious. And that's why people are making such a fad out of this stuff, and like it's just fun. Oh, I'm a witch. It's not a plaything. We are really, and people don't understand spiritual battle. So let's talk about how there are other smudges out there. Yes, my store, crystalcreekbotanicals.com, we do carry different smudges, but like I said, it's not just about advertising. I want to show you how we package some of our smudges here. This is our mugwort, and they're very fresh. We do carry very fresh. You want to make sure that whoever you get, I package up everything. It's the white sage because I do not like people putting their hands all over spiritual things. I think the more that we package and keep things fresh, the better. Some people just sit smudges out and say, well, I'm not like that. And so we are very known to have very very fresh herbs and smudges. And that's one thing that I always get complimented on, is that the herbs and smudges that we sell are very, very fresh. Okay, so I'm very, very particular. These are my own smudges that I'm gonna show you. Of course, I have smudge galore. Okay, and I use them for different stuff. I'm gonna explain to you what I use them for. And we talked a lot about sage. Okay, so sage, there's all kind of sages. A lot of people don't know this is the white sage here. Okay, and this is like the 9-inch, the big huge one, and these are good for doing spiritual work in your home. I feel like these are very personal. I'm trying to get rid of some of the glare, blinging with the nails. I feel that these are very, very personal. Because they're so big. I feel like when you light them and relight them up, this is very good. I'm very particular and very picky about my spiritual work and how I do it, which is why I'm in this business anyway. And I think this is the perfect business for me, because I take special care of everything that I sell and everything that I give to you guys, because I treat my brothers and sisters how I want to be treated. Okay, so yeah, I like to make these my personal, the big smudges, because when I relight them, I like to keep it within my home. If you're going to take this, many of us go out and do spiritual work for other people. I think you should use the smaller ones. Okay, so these are the smaller sages here. Okay, so these are white sage. We sell 3 in a pack as well. Okay, and they're mini smudge sticks. Okay, so one thing about the smaller ones, you guys, if you have a portable, like some of us have our bags that we take with us. I mean, some of you are really out in the field doing work for other people, maybe in your family. The smaller smudges are better to do work with when we're doing work with other people, I feel. If I go to your home, just say for instance, and I do some work for you, whatever smudge I use to cleanse your home, I'm not taking that back with me. You can keep that. That's a token of you keep burning that. That's for you, sis. But I don't like to do that. That's just me. Some people say, well, it's smudge, it cleanses. Nope. I'm gonna leave that with you. So if you're going to do little work for people, if you have a small spiritual space, the little ones always work really well. Okay, the big ones I like to keep for personal use. The smaller ones, just showing you that sage does come in different sizes. Many of the herbs come in different sizes. Some of them I have a hard time purchasing them in a smaller size. I don't know why that is. But one smudge that I want to talk to you guys about that is really my personal favorite that I love is rosemary. Okay, so this is a rosemary smudge here. I kind of want you guys to see the little prinkly, I mean not prinkly, it has like little I don't know, they kind of like little, you can kind of see them in there. But this is how rosemary look, kind of like the way you cook with the rosemary that you cook with, except it's still on the vine, okay, and it's wrapped up. We know the process. You can look up the whole process behind how smudge is made. Okay, it's dried herbs. I don't want to get into that because this video will be long as hell. But rosemary, a lot of people don't know that a lot of spiritual workers and witches, we make wreaths out of this because it's a very, very protective herb. So for people that are trying to keep negative energies from inside of your home, you would use rosemary. Rosemary, listen to the name of some of these herbs. Rosemary, it sounds like very mature, very southern, because it's an herb that is for the woman of the house. So, or if you are a big mama or the mother of a home or the madam, this is a herb that we burn for madams. If you are a madam or the woman of your home, this is an herb that you can go to. It's very good for attracting love. It's a very good mother or grandmother herb. It's very good for the crone. Also, a lot of people don't know that rosemary is also good for memory. So if I ever do or ever am doing spiritual work for somebody that's in school, a lot of people take rosemary and they put them in satchels and they'll wear it on them before they go do exams, because rosemary is very, very good for bringing back memory. So if you're in school or you're trying to remember something, rosemary, or if you're doing work for a student, you can also, if you're studying and you want to remember something, you can put it underneath your pillows, okay? Because rosemary is very good for that. Also, rosemary is also called it has a link to Jesus and Mary. Mary, the mother of Jesus. A lot of people link that to that whole story, the mother and child, because like I said, it is a madam herb. So it's very good for mother lords, or women that are basically over a nation of people, or if you are the head of your household and you are a woman, it's very good to burn rosemary. Okay, rosemary has also been known to be a substitute for frankincense. So if you have ran out of frankincense and you still want that same type of energy, what is a mother when you think about it? Very soothing. You see what I'm saying? Very calming and comforting. But frankincense has that same type of, frankincense is also linked to baby Jesus, So we know these stories are allegorical. So I always bring up the Bible because many, I still use the Bible for several different things. That's just my spiritual walk. So that is what rosemary is very good for. It's good for protection. You can make a wreath out of it. That's a project I'm going to be working on, is a protection wreath, a protection wreath to put on my door to protect against negative energies. Okay, so that is a very, very wonderful herb that I love to use. The next one that I love so much, oh my god, this is like one of my favorites too. Oh, let me talk about what rosemary smells like. It has sort of a lavenderish type of smell. It's kind of sweet yet herbally. It just smells like rosemary. I don't know why I want to say it like that. Rosemary. If somebody say rosemary, you just think about somebody mama. So it has like a little sweet smell to it. It doesn't stink at all. I enjoy it. It's pleasant to me, but hey, some of you might be like, it's something you got to get immune to when it comes to smudging. It's uncomfortable for many of you because you have spirits that you're dealing with. Some people don't like smudges because, they dealing with negative shit. So maybe it's, helping you out. Maybe you got issues. So this is another one that I love here. This is called juniper. It is more of a spikely than that's the difference between the rosemary and the juniper. Y'all, I gotta give me a good camera. But this juniper I love so much is because it's also very good for protection. But juniper oil itself, a lot of people take it to get rid of depression. A lot of people take juniper oil to lower their blood pressure, helps aid in lowering blood pressure. So it does kind of the same thing, because remember I was telling you guys that I feel that disease is a spiritual thing. Well, rosemary, juniper, got rosemary on the brain. Juniper is very good for getting rid of hexes and curses. Okay, so if you feel like you're being attacked, maybe either by somebody or just some entities that just don't like you and don't like what you're doing and don't like the life you live, you might want to burn juniper. Juniper is something that I always go to when I feel that I am under some type of spiritual attack, okay? And I'm going to say something when it comes to spiritual attacks, you guys, is that a lot of times when you don't feel like doing ritual, when you don't feel like, cleansing your home, when you feel like you don't want to do it, is when you probably should. So sometimes you have to push beyond what you feel like doing and just do it anyway, because there are forces trying to keep you from spiritually cleansing your home. Okay, so this is very good for that. It's good for protection. I love juniper for that reason. Like I said, this is very good for getting rid of bad spirits in your house. Okay, this is a spirit attacker. This smell of this is like Christmas. It smells kind of like a burning Christmas tree. That's the best way I can describe juniper. It's like in the pine family. It's so like I said, it smells like a burning Christmas tree. So you burn that and you'll have the spirit of Christmas all up in your home. And so another herb that I wanted to talk about, I put this one inside of my little package, is Yorba Santa. Okay, we sell the little ones here of the Yorba Santa. Okay, this is a very important smudge here, because for some reason when I first got these, I kind of go with what my spirit tells me, and for some reason I would always sit one of these on my altar. And come to find out, when I looked it up, see, I have this is my little that I have. It's a Palo Santos, and this is the Yorba Santa in my little Absalon shell that I have on my altar, because for some reason I had to have one of these on my altar. And come to find out, this is very good for altar dressing. So if you're dressing your altar, this is very good to burn your supplies with, your spiritual items with this. I always keep one of these. It's often called a holy herb. Okay, and it's called a holy herb because it's used in for ceremonial purposes. This is a very good smudge for protection. It's very good. A lot of times people take the leaves and they use this for beautification. So it's to make things beautiful. So if you're redecorating your home or something like that, you can burn this. Also, people bathe in loose leaves of this. Some people like to bathe in this to beautify themselves, to make them own selves beautiful. And another thing it's good for also, Yorba Santa is good for ancestor work. If you're doing some work at a cemetery, you can burn this as well. So a lot of these herbs are ceremonial. When you're dressing an altar, that's very ceremonial right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's really something that you should take very serious. So you spiritually cleanse it, and then you can burn some of this. You can use this anytime you're going to visit your ancestors or do any form of ancestor work. If someone just passed away, it's also a healing herb. So it's very good for somebody who is sick with disease. Yorba Santa is very good for running off spirits of disease. If there's somebody that's very sick in your home, you live with somebody that's very sickly, you might want to burn this sometimes. Within the home, or use this to do any type of healing work that you might be doing for somebody that might be sick. If you do healing work, Yorba Santa is very good for that. So you guys can do some more research. We do carry all of these herbs. Another one that I would like to talk about is mugwort. Now, I'm gonna tell you, some of my smudges, they kind of change in size and appearance. Why? Because nothing is perfect in nature, okay? Even with stones and crystals, if somebody's selling you stones with the exact same colors, the exact same, it might not be a real stone, okay? Ours are very authentic. I make sure I find out where the stones came from. But however, the same thing when dealing with herbs, a lot of times I can't find certain smudges because season and how nature is. Sometimes some herbs are hard to get. So this one always changed. Not only that, some smudges burn better than others. And I think it's because some of them are more stem-like. One thing about mugwort is that you sometimes, and I'm very honest, you have to keep lighting it. It is a very good smudge, and I'm gonna tell you why I love to work with mugwort. I love working with mugwort because mugwort is good for astral travel or any form of dream state or astral traveling that you might be doing. If you are having nightmares or things like that, a lot of people smudge this in their bedroom, by their bed. They have satchels that they put under their pillow. So this is very good. Mugwort is very good if you are under some type of spiritual attack that has to do with sleeping. Also, if you like to go into some form of dream state, you can make a tea using mugwort. Yes, I drink mugwort tea. I do like it. It does make me, anytime I'm doing some type of cleansing work where I really need to let some energies go, I love working with mugwort because that's one of the herbs that I do make a tea out of. So you can also drink a lot of this stuff, but make sure you know what you're drinking and ingesting and all of that, your allergies, whatever you got going on, okay? But this is very good for, like I said, if your children are having nightmares or things like that, you can use mugwort. If you're trying to do some traveling, say for instance, I do astral travel myself. It's a gift that was given to me. I'm able to leave my body and go places. Sometimes a lot of these herbs are just to aid us with gifts that we already have to make it easier to get there. So traveling, if you are a true astral traveler, you know when you go to leave your body, it's almost like a near-death experience, okay? So we're going to talk about that in another video. I'm going to tell you guys just how you can astral travel if that's what you want to do and what it feels like and why I'm very picky about traveling and the dangers of it, okay? But mugwort will definitely help you get there. So this is good for the traveler. If you know you are a traveler, you should have some form of mugwort inside of your spiritual kit, inside your home, some type of way. You need to have this, okay? So this is a very, very good herb. So also look, when it comes to smudges, oh, I want to talk about this one here. This is mine here. I have one that I already, it's not really a smudge as it is, I don't know, but it comes from the earth and I just want to bring it up just when I'm at it. It's sweetgrass. Y'all see this? This is sweetgrass. If you can look here, you know, you'll see that the sweetgrass is like a braid. It's very native and indigenous. So a lot of this is indigenous. Y'all know my store is an indigenous and African based company. And so sweetgrass, it looks like a braided woman's hair. This is used for a lot of ceremonies, okay? This is a ceremonial herb. It's a sacred plant. It's not something that you just burn just for the heck of it. I want you guys to get familiar with this. This is something that you do when you're having a ceremony of some sort, okay? Or a type of, when you're getting together with other people and you're doing a prayer or a ceremony, you will burn the sweetgrass. It is strong. And when I say it's strong, what it's also used to attract positive energy, so you can just burn it, but I treat sweetgrass, we do sell that more so as a ceremonial thing. So there are some herbs that you want to put to the side and like use them if you're doing like a christening. Some of you guys got to get ready because you are really chosen to do spiritual work out here, and that's the reason why I want to tell you guys what you can use, what you need. You need to really walk into your destiny. You really need to walk into it, and you need to be prepared for this. Some of you are priestess. I don't particularly call myself a priestess, but I can do priestess work, but I don't necessarily call myself a priestess. I call myself a witch. and we will get into another video about why I call myself a witch. Okay, all of you don't have to use that term, but that's just something I like to say, and we'll talk about that later. But if you're a priestess, that means that you have to do rites of passage, and you need to learn these things and really learn what different plants are good for, because there probably will come a time, maybe not in my generation, maybe not even in yours, but we need to pass this information down where we will not be able to probably be on the internet anymore. And you're going to have to remember, when you see these things in nature, what they are and what they are good for. Okay, so this is stuff that we've been using for centuries. Okay, you know, don't let nobody tell you that's white folks. No, this is your culture. This is what you're supposed to be doing. We were always known for dealing with things from the earth, because we as a people are earth people. We are nature people. Okay, so many of us, even our energy that we use, we draw from the nature spirits. Okay, so some of us, you know, that's how we operate. So another thing that I think you guys need to get familiar with is the fact that many smudges come in blends. I do like smudge blends, okay, because it's kind of like even when you're sick or something. Okay, so if you got a stomach ache, you might use ginger, you might use, you know, all type of different stuff to kind of like help with that stomach ache, and you combine it together, and it kind of has more of a fast acting, you know, action to it, to help heal you, because you're combining herbs together. It's kind of like forming a bond. Okay, so some herbs work really well with other herbs when you're sick or not feeling well. The same thing when you're dealing with the spiritual world, or when you're trying to change energy in a home. You can combine herbs along with resins. Okay, so resins come from trees, so it's very cool to use. For me, I really love to use resins with the herbs, with the smudge, because it's kind of like a little added protection. And I mean, I think I just kind of like doing that. So we're starting to branch out and buy more so blends. So I don't want to, there's so many more herbs. Believe me, there's way more you can smudge with than what I'm talking about today. But we're just going to give you an idea, and hopefully this will encourage you to like try other smudges when you're doing your spiritual work, and see if it has a different effect on you and the environment in which you live in. So this is what we call red sage. Okay, this is red sage. Okay, you can still kind of see it's not perfectly red, but what it's covered with is it's white sage covered with what is called dragon's blood. Okay, dragon's blood resin is very expensive, number one. Dragon's blood, it's very good for protection, cleansing out negative spirits. I mean, it's like even when you smell it, it smells very powerful. It has like, so I think this adds like an extra kick to your sage. So it's just white sage mixed with resins. Okay, mind you, there are other types of sages as well. You got white sage, you got blue sage, you got black sage, and they all are kind of different. We will soon be selling blue sage. So dealing with herbal blends is something that can really help with doing work in your home or whatever. Some of them have different herbs mixed together. Sometimes they are blended with resins as well. Okay, so that's just kind of, I didn't want to make the video all too long, but I'm trying to give you guys an idea on how, let's start working with different plants and stuff. Let's not just go with, of course, if you're gonna buy a smudge and you just absolutely have to get just one, yes, I got smudge all over me. Yes, I'm gonna say, y'all, this thing, I'm telling you, these hairdressers be making me trip. Yes, you're gonna go with with sage. If you only can get one smudge, just go with the sage. Yes, it works, it's powerful, it's the go-to. But some of us need to branch out just a little bit more than we normally do. Y'all gotta excuse me because I got some allergy stuff going on here. I don't want that to be the thing to stop me from reaching out to you guys today. I'm not making excuses no more. I'm just gonna do it. Okay, so yeah, you guys, a lot of these smudges, like I said, we carry at crystalcreekbotanicals.com. I know a lot of you have spiritual stores that you go to, that's fine, but start looking around the herb section and start trying different things, and maybe you'll see some other results that you've been looking for. Okay, so you guys, I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope that it reaches, you know, whoever it needs to reach. That is my mission. You know, if you're watching this, this was meant for you. You was meant to see this video today. Hopefully it'll inspire you in some way. And like I said, you guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will be back with you guys later. Okay, until next time, bye bye.